Daddy, no!
Those were the last words his daughter ever said, before Chris Watts ended the life of the child he once cradled in his arms. He had already murdered his pregnant wife, buried her in a shallow grave, and dumped the bodies of his two daughters, Bella, 4 years old, and Celeste, 3, into separate, crude oil tanks. Just hours later, he stood in front of news cameras, calm, composed, wearing a smile that fooled millions. Chris Watts wasn't a desperate husband pleading for his family to return. He was the man who had taken them away. This isn't just a story of murder. It's a story of masks, of deception, and of a man willing to destroy everything just to chase a fantasy with his mistress. And for a moment, he almost got away with it. They looked like the American dream. Chris Watts, calm, polite, hardworking. Shanann, vibrant, full of energy, building a successful business from home. Together, they had 2 adorable daughters, Bella and Celeste. A third child, a baby boy they had already named Nico, was on the way. On social media, they were picture perfect. Smiling photos, loving captions, heartfelt videos of Chris being the best dad ever. They had a beautiful 5-bedroom house in a quiet suburb of Frederick, Colorado. But behind the perfectly curated life, something was cracking. Financial struggles were piling up. They had declared bankruptcy just a few years earlier. Their mortgage was overdue, credit card debt, medical bills. Every month was a juggling act. And Chris, he had started to pull away, emotionally distant, quiet. He claimed it was work stress. Shanann thought he was just tired. But she felt it. Something was different. On June 27, 2018, Shanann flew to North Carolina with her daughters for a 5-week trip to visit family and rest. She texted, called, and sent photos to Chris every day. On July 24th, Shanann remarked that Chris had been slow to respond to her. She texted, "Thought something happened, but you don't care about others' feelings. Or think you're with another girl, or worse, no consideration of others." Later, Shanann writes, "Elle realized during this trip what's missing in our relationship. LT's only one-way emotions and feelings. I can't come back like this. I need you to meet me halfway." She continued painfully, "While you are working and living the bachelor life, I'm carrying our third and fighting with our 2 kids daily and trying to work and make money." But his replies grew colder and fewer. Shanann wrote desperately, "I kept looking at my phone all night and no response from you. Like, seriously, we didn't just start dating yesterday. We've been together 8 years and have 2.5 kids together." On July 29th, after a 14-minute phone conversation, she wrote, "I'm done with begging for you to talk." Her messages showed just how desperate and worn out she felt. She told her friends she was worried. She even confided that Chris had stopped touching her, stopped saying, "I love you." Still, she hoped it was just a phase. What she didn't know was that Chris had started seeing someone else, someone younger, someone who made him feel like a new man. Her name was Nicole Kessinger, a co-worker at Anadarko Petroleum. Smart, energetic, into fitness. Chris lied to her, said he was separated, sleeping in the basement, that his wife wasn't in the picture anymore. And Nicole believed him. Their relationship escalated fast. They didn't just go on dates or talk for hours. They traveled together, visited a car museum, took road trips to the sand dunes, ate at expensive restaurants. They even looked at rental apartments. Nicole Googled wedding dresses. Meanwhile, Shanann was texting, "I miss you. I miss the way you hold me. I miss eating dinner with you, watching TV with you, sleeping next to you. I couldn't wait to hold you, kiss you, love you. We've been together for 8 years and have almost 3 kids. How can you change in just 5 weeks?" Chris. He was searching the internet for what it's like to live without children. Shanann was breaking. Chris? He was living a honeymoon with his mistress. He didn't want a divorce, didn't want child support, didn't want to face the mess of starting over with 3 kids. And in his twisted mind, only one way out remained. That morning, at 1:48 a.m., August 13th, 2018, Shanann returned home from her business trip in Arizona. Surveillance video shows her arriving home. She had no idea what was waiting for her inside. Chris said he left for work at 5:15 a.m. He even texted Shanann, pretending everything was normal. But the neighbor's camera told a different story. At 5:27 a.m., Chris was seen backing his truck into the garage and loading something: gas cans, tools, and something else. Something heavy. Later that day, Shanann's friend Nicole grew worried. Shanann wasn't answering texts or calls. She hadn't gone to her OB/GYN appointment. So Nicole drove to the house, rang the doorbell, knocked on the windows. No answer. She called the police.
How you guys doing?
Brother,
What's that?
do you remember me?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
How you been?
Hi.
You Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend,
All right.
and I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well, and she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls, and she was very distraught over the weekend, wasn't eating normally or drinking, and we kept trying to force it on her because she's pregnant. Her husband and her supposedly are separating, but she didn't know this. She thought they were just having issues. He disclosed that to me today.
Okay.
Because I called him and I was like, have you talked or heard from Shanann since she left for work this morning? Because I can't get a hold of her. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are by the front door.
When officers arrived for a welfare check, they found Shanann's purse still inside, her phone, her wedding ring, but no sign of her or the kids. Chris came home during the welfare check.
Scott, how you
He
doing?
was calm, too calm. He said Shanann took the girls to a friend's house. He didn't seem worried, but something was off. Even the officer's body cam showed Chris pacing, mumbling, avoiding eye contact. Then the neighbor showed the police his security footage. The camera caught Chris backing his truck into the garage in the early morning hours, something he had never done before. The neighbor noticed it too. "You never see him like that," he told the officer. The lie was cracking, and Chris knew it. The morning after Shanann and the girls were reported missing, Chris Watts gave interviews to local news stations. He looked straight into the camera and begged for his family's return.
Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
But behind the scenes, detectives weren't convinced. His body language was off. He wasn't asking real questions, like where they could be or who might have taken them. Instead, he kept repeating,
I just want them back. I just want them to come back.
Meanwhile, Shanann's parents were distraught. They knew their daughter. They knew she would never just vanish with the kids. On August 14th, Chris was brought in for questioning. The interrogation started calmly. Detectives asked him about his marriage. Chris admitted things were tense, that he had been distant, but he didn't say why. That's when they offered him a polygraph. He agreed. That didn't go well. "I have to be honest with you," the examiner told him. "You failed the test, and not just a little." Chris stayed silent. Then detectives told him to tell the truth, not for them, but for Shanann, for the girls. And just like that, the story changed. Chris asked to speak to his father, Ronnie. They brought him into the room.
Lost it and choke her. That's rage. I'm bad.
In a whisper, Chris finally said, "She hurt the kids, and I killed her."
I saw on the monitor. Those covers were like pulled off and she was just laying there. I freaked out. I ran in there and got on top of her.
What'd you do?
Those are my kids.
What happened?
Something to her.
To Shanann?
I put her back in our bed. And I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do. I was shaking. Like both my kids were blue and they're gone.
This was a lie within a lie. His last attempt to twist the truth, to protect himself, even as the walls were closing in. After the so-called confession, detectives weren't satisfied. They knew Chris was still lying. Shanann didn't hurt the kids. He did. With pressure building, Chris finally confessed the full truth in chilling detail. He said he strangled Shanann in their bed after an argument. Then he wrapped her body in a sheet, loaded her into the truck, along with gas cans, and his daughters. Bella and Cece were still alive, sitting beside their mother's body, whispering, "What's wrong with Mommy?" He drove 45 minutes to an oil field he knew well. There, he buried Shanann in a shallow grave. Then, he smothered his daughters, one by one, and dropped each of them into separate oil tanks, 8 inches wide, filled with crude oil. Then he went home, took a shower, texted a co-worker, and acted normal. He showed up to work, played the worried husband, gave interviews, begged for their return, all while knowing they were already gone. In the days after the murders, the other woman, Nicole Kessinger, was interviewed by police. She was shocked. She had no idea what Chris was capable of. Investigators found no evidence linking her to the murders. She, too, had been deceived.
Say anything to him about, like,
Never.
anything about his kids being a problem, anything about his wife being a problem?
Never. This shocked me just as much as I think it shocked the rest of the world.
Chris Watts was then arrested, and less than 3 months later, on November 16th, he pleaded guilty to all 9 counts against him. And eventually, on November 19th, 2018, he was sentenced to 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. He avoided the death penalty, not out of mercy, but because Shanann's family asked for it. They didn't want more death. They just wanted peace.
We loved you like a son. We trusted you. Your faithful wife trusted you. Your children adored you, and they also trusted you. I have no idea who gave you the right to take their lives. You took your own life. I didn't want death for you because that's not my right. Your life is between you and God now, and I pray that He has mercy for you. From Shannon's mother, Bella Marie, Celeste Catherine, and Nico Lee's Nana. Thank you, Your Honor.
Today, Chris spends 23 hours a day in isolation inside a maximum security prison, alone with his thoughts, alone with his guilt. This isn't just a story about evil. It's about the silence we ignore, the love we overlook, and the lives we should have protected. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and baby Nico, they deserved better. They deserve to live. Let their names remind us. Check in. Speak up. Don't wait. And if their story moved you, like and subscribe to support my channel and to hear more truths that must be told.